Good afternoon. Can you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your response. Yes. Okay. So before that, how was the exam?
Sir, my last question got wrong upload.
Okay, that is okay. Others?
Good, sir.
Okay, fine.
It was
So
good, sir.
yeah, super. Okay, anyway, you will get your paper within 2 days. So I just started. So anyway, probably by tomorrow evening or maybe day after tomorrow, surely will you can see your paper. Okay. So by the same time, we can just get the responses. If suppose if there is any valid justification or if there is any valid marks to be put on that, if there is any space, surely I'll consider. Otherwise, please don't come into me. So anyway, tomorrow I'll just say the update about the paper status. Okay. Okay. Now we can enter into the topic. So lastly, we have ended with the problem is called subgroups. Okay. So before enter into that, first, can you just recall the definition of subgroup? Anyone can try to say the definition of subgroup, not in formal. You can just say the views, what you have kept in your mind. That's it. That's more than enough.
So like a subgroup is it it includes some of the elements of a group but not all, and
Okay, very good.
it follows, I think, associative identity and inverse law.
Associative. Okay. So
No, so closure, identity, and
Closure.
inverse.
very good, very good,
Yes,
very
sir.
good.
And it shouldn't have zero alone. I mean, it shouldn't have one element. Like if we take that cyclic thing,
Yeah, very
taking.
good. Okay,
Yes, sir.
anyway, you got into very deeper. Okay, fine. So see here, what he said is correct answer. See, very good. So here, usually the definition says like, uh, if suppose if I'm calling like T is the subgroup of 1 minute. I'll just close and then reopen. Okay. Yeah, now it's fine. See here, T is the subset of G is a subgroup. When it is called as a subgroup, it has to satisfy some conditions like it has to be closed. It has to be closed. Next, if E belongs to T means then certainly E belongs to G also. Then E is the identity element. Okay, so always the same element of inverse element of G will exist on the T also. That is the definition of subgroup. So under this we have solved one problem like find all the subgroups of for some set. Okay, that time it was classified into two definitions. One is proper subgroup, one more is trivial subgroups. There you need to count how many proper subgroups are there in the given set. Okay, by counting then you can simply mention that. So that will be the answer of finding all the subgroups. That's a problem what we have discussed in the last session before the exam commences. Okay, now now we can enter into the new problem. See here, the problem says like, the problem, give an example for the union of two subgroups, of G need not be a subgroup of G. See here, you will have, okay, solution. You will have two subgroups I can consider. Let H1, let H2 be two subgroups. Subgroups of G. Next, what they're asking to prove that the union of two subgroups, that means H1, H1 union H2, need not be a subgroup. So that means union of this need not be a subgroup. That means it will not be like this. H1 union H2 does not contain in G. Okay, so here we are supposed to show one example to this. Okay, that means we are going to say one the example. Always union of two subgroups, it is not needed to be a subgroup of G. Now I'm going to consider one basic example, like let H1 example. Let H1 I am going to consider like, okay, first let G be a set of all integers. That means Z, right? So in which H1 I'm going to consider like 0 plus or minus 2, like plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6, plus or minus 8. That will be the very easy example. That means what I have considered, just 2n belongs to Z. Roughly I'm asking you, 2n belongs to Z. Will it be a subgroup or not? You can just check all the conditions of subgroup. Now can you try to say whether 2n is the subgroup of Z or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, likewise, will it be the subgroup 3n belongs to Z is the subgroup of not belongs to Z is the subgroup or
Yes,
not?
sir.
Yes, sir. Because it will satisfy all the conditions of subgroup. So certainly I can consider the another subgroup like 3. Nine. Okay, likewise it can goes on like this. After this, so what they're asking to show H1 union H2. That means all the elements will come exist into that. That means plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 4, plus or minus 6, plus or minus 8, plus or minus 9. It can goes on like this. Now you are going to show whether it is a subgroup or not. Now you can just check it is a subgroup of G or not. Just you can check in this set itself. Can you try to say the answer? H1 union H2 is a subgroup of this set or not?
It is no, sir.
It is no or yes?
It is, sir.
Oh, it's a subgroup. Okay, so I'll just say one example to you. Now you will say the counter answer to that. Okay, if I take the elements like 2 and then 3 belongs to my set like H1 union H2. Now, what is the subgroup properties? It has to be a closed, right? It has to be a closed. Likewise, it has to be a same identity element of original G, same identity, same inverse element of original G. So likewise, now if I apply the addition between them, 2 plus 3, equal to 5. Will it belongs to H1 union H2?
No, sir.
No. It gives a counter value, that is phi is not exist in the given set H1 union H2. So from which directly, since P is not closed,
Say 2 into 3 equals to 6, right? So
yeah,
when it is operator dependent.
yeah, actually here what I have considered, what they are asking to show, give an example, just example. So I'm going to consider uh, just operation with respect to plus, so that I can show an example.
So for in the
What
exam also, when you had asked for approving groups and the operator was not given, only plus is sufficient, right?
Yeah, what they are mentioned.
There's nothing mentioned, no operator mentioned.
That time you are allowed to use any operator, but if they are mentioned like in Word, that time you are restricted to use that operator
Yes.
alone.
Fine.
Okay, yeah. So here they are asking to show an example. So here I have taken the operation like plus, so that I can like generally they are saying like always union of two subgroups or need not be a subgroup. That's it. Okay. Here we are giving some counter example to that. That's it. So
Okay.
from which I can show like H1 union H2 is not a subgroup. Have you understood this problem? Have you understood this? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next. Okay, these are the definitions already you are familiar with. Semigroup means it has to be satisfy, closed, and then associative. Okay, group means it has to satisfy four conditions: closure, associative, identity, inverse. In which if one set satisfies first two axioms alone, means that time it is called as semigroup. What is the definition of if one set satisfies first three axioms?
Monoid.
Monoid, very good. So here just they are saying the definition of semi-group by formally like S comma dot is a semi-group if for any x comma y comma z belongs to S, then x star y star z equal to, by changing the positions of the brackets, they are simply saying this definition. Can you just predict why they didn't mention here the closure? Anyone?
Sir, because it is implied.
It is, but it's hidden. But here it is hiddenly. They are saying closure is exist. Closure properties exist. Can you try to say the reason for that? Why? It's very simple. See here, in all the two elements operations, there will be the closure only. So certainly there is a hidden satisfied one, that is, it is a closed. Certainly it is closed. Only when it is closed, then I can proceed to the next part. Okay. So here that's what they are trying to say. It is a closed. There is no problem even if you write this like S is a semi group. If it satisfy, S is a closed and then associative. Okay, there is nothing problem into it. Or some of the authors they can mention that, some authors they can skip that because of that reason what I have intimated to you now. Okay, so that thing also you should know that this definition is formally provided in your Tremblay and Manohar book, which is a syllabus referred book. So that's why I have explained why they have skipped that. You should not get confusion. It is a hiddenly they are saying it is a closed. Okay, there is no problem even if you mention that word also. Okay, next. This is a monoid definition. So monoid definition means with the semi-group definition, it has to satisfy one more property, that is identity. Okay, if it is so, then it is called the set is algebraic system is called monoid. Already we have discussed that. Anyway, we can skip that. Okay, so this is the new definition which are not aware about things. See here, what is the definition of sub semi group. Already you are discussed, like semi group means it has to satisfy one thing, like it has to be closed, and then one more thing, associative. Closed and then associative. Here sub semi group. Sub semi group means only one property, that here T is a subset of S, then I can call T is the sub semi group, means it has to be a closed. That's it. It is not required to prove the associative. Okay, in which if it satisfy only one property, closed means, then it is called sub semi group. Okay, so see here, you can just remember. Yes, please.
So here, like T is a subset of S, and it is only following the closure property.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. Right? Okay. If one algebraic system follows all the four properties, means then it is a group. If one algebraic system follows three properties, means then it is a monoid. If one algebraic system satisfies first two axioms, mean then it is a semi-group. If one algebraic system satisfies only one, then it is called sub-semi-group. Sub-semi-group. Have you cleared on these four definitions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now this is another definition. Submonoid. Okay, submonoid. Submonoid is usually first you need to recall what is the condition of monoid. It has to be a closed associative identity. So in which submonoid means it has to satisfy the closure and then the identity element should be there. That's it. Okay, so it has to satisfy closure and then identity element should be there, the same identity element of original your yum. Okay, so this is called submonoid. So here you can just refer Google, you will get plenty of examples by using the number system itself. They have provided sufficient examples to say the submonoid not to be a monoid, to say the sub semi group not to be a semi group. So you can find so many examples. So if it is needed, please go through on the same. Okay, before getting to the another topic, you can just fill the attendance form and then we can come back to that. Okay. Okay, we are going to enter into the last topic. So that is actually cosets. Okay, so here coset is nothing but it's a like a subset. It's a subset of the original set. Okay, that is called coset. So here there are two classification. One is left coset, one more is right coset. I'll say the difference between them. So yes, see here, cosets are classified like very simple. In the, I think for the last semester, they're asked the simple question like one part of the 10 mark, like find all the cosets of the G by using this subgraph. Okay, subgroup. So they have just given the problem like this. They are asked the question as the one part of 10 marks. So please listen. See here, left coset and then right coset. So here it is classified like left coset and then right coset. Left coset is nothing but, see here, usually you will have one graph, G, that is your biggest set, in which you're going to consider one more subgroup, that is H. Okay, subset, you can consider like a subset. After that, so here H is the subset of G. I can consider like this. I am going to pick one element from G. Listen carefully. I am going to pick one element from G. That means original set. A belongs to G. Then with the number A, or for all the number of G. Okay, that is a possibility we are going to show. Just you can consider A be the any number of G. So it can be written in the form like A star H, or in the form H star A. Here star can be any operation, differ with respect to the problem. If it is possible to write like this, then it is called left coset. If it is possible to write like this, that is a right coset. After, if you are applying this operation, you will get another subset. That subset also belongs to G. Then it is called, this set is called left coset. This set is called right coset. Yeah, I'll explain once again. Anyway, it will be clear when the problem solving time. So please listen before that. See here, it will be classified into two things, left coset and the right coset. Left coset means with the subset, you are going to take the multiplication in the left hand side, operation, you are going to apply the operation in the left hand side. If you take the operation in the right hand side with the element of A which belongs to G, then it is called right coset. Anyway, that is the definition formally they are provided. Okay, so that's a formal definition. Now we can enter into the problem.
So for an abelian group, left coset and right coset are same, right?
Exactly, you are got it. Finally, I just wanted to ask this question. Anyway, before that itself, you have predicted. Okay, I have planned to ask the question after this problem ends, so that you will get the idea. Okay, fine. So let me solve this problem first. See here, let G be a group. Okay, this is a set, what they have provided. H is the subset of G, that means subgroup of G. So here they are provided. So H. Under operation is multiplication. Find all the cosets of H. That means I need to determine A belong, AH also HA. Here AH is nothing but left coset. HA is nothing but right coset, right? So here first I am going to determine left cosets. Left coset, that means AH. Here A belongs to G. So here I am going to take an element like 1 into H. Okay, so 1 into 1, 1. 1 into A square, A square. Now you can check 1 comma A square is the subgroup of G. Yes, it's a subset, right? Okay, then I can call this as a coset, right? So this is called a coset. Next, I can choose another element from G, that is A into H. So what will be the answer? What will be the answer? A into H.
A and A cube.
A and A cubes.
Very good. So likewise, next element, A square H.
A power 4.
a power 4. So here a power 4 is the, it's a cubic roots of unity. You can consider like a fourth roots of, they would have mentioned that anyway. So if it is so, that is a cube, a power 4 will be the 1. Okay, you would have already known that cubic roots of unity means that time a cube will be equal to 1. That sometimes they can use omega. Okay, sometimes they can directly mention that a itself. Okay, so here it is fourth roots of unity. So that time a power 4 equal to 1. So here I can write this like a power 4 as 1. After this, next a cube into h.
Sir, can you explain the above step again?
Yes, yes. Okay, see here, usually it was given in your schooling subjects also, mathematics. So in your discrete, it was provided like cubic roots of unity means that time you need to write the set like 1 comma omega square. That means cubic roots. These are the elements like cubic roots. They usually call this like a cubic roots. That time only 3 elements will be there. In moreover, this will be the original set. Moreover, omega cube always will have the unity. Okay, if suppose fourth roots of unity means that time 1 omega square omega cube. That will be the original set of elements. That time omega power 4 will be 1. So this is called fourth root. So in the place of omega, they have given here a, that's it. But the original thing is here it is nothing but fourth roots of unity problem only it is provided. Otherwise, you will not get the answer which belongs to the G as a subset. Can you get the idea?
So, but it's not mentioned. It looks like that, but it's not mentioned in the question that. So in exam, how do we consider? Do we consider it?
So should we interpret? Should we be able to interpret this, or it would be given in the question, sir?
No, no, no. In your 12th standard, some of the problems you can just see. Some of the problems they would have mentioned. Some in some cases they did not mention that. You need to understand with respect to the problem whether it is a provided like roots of unity or other case. So you're supposed to predict sometimes. So anyway, this sort of problem maybe if suppose in our case if you are taking the problem, that time we'll mention. Even if we are not mentioned, you need to, anyway, I have pointed that you need to keep in your mind. Okay, is it clear? Can you solve the okay, now a cube into h, a cube into h,
A cube and A.
a cube and a, very good. Because a cube into a square, a power 5. So a power 5 can be written like a power 4 into a. Already you have known that a power 4 is the 1. So 1 into a. So last one is, that's it. So you have determined all the cosets. So in which you need to just write where 1h is equal to a square h, right? Both are same. Both are giving the same answers. So likewise, AH equal to A cube H. A comma A cube. So totally there are two distinct, you need to mention that. How many distinct cosets are there? Two distinct left cosets are there. Two distinct left cosets. Okay, so this is the way to determine the left cosets. So likewise, the same process will be applied to determine the right coset. Can you just predict how many right cosets will exist for this problem?
2.
2. Why? Because it is
Just the same process but reversed.
same process. Because of the reason you are applied here multiplication. Even though some it will be varied only when you have like division. In other cases it will not be varied. Okay. So this I can call it like a commutative, like 1h equal to h1. So obviously because of the commutative property satisfied. So this will have the same value, just changing the positions, like 1h instead of that you can change like h1. Okay. This is the problem. So last problem with it I'll complete. I'll close it. So anyway, find the right cosets of 0, 2 in the group Z4, plus 4. Okay, already I've told you, sometimes they can use that plus under 4, or sometimes they can use plus alone. You need to consider, like with respect to the problem, what they are mentioned, Z4 is always congruence operation, addition modulo. So there you need to consider that as a not a basic simplified addition. Instead of that, you need to consider like addition modulo 4. Okay, already I have pointed that anyway. So here, find the right cosets of 0, 2. First, I need to write the group. Then I can go with the subgroup, right? So first, Z4. What are all the elements will be there?
0, 1, 2, 3.
Will it be 4 in the set?
No, sir.
Oh,
No,
no,
sir.
very good. So after this, so just you are going to apply instead of that Z4, I can I can apply. Okay, fine. So here H can be considered like 0 and then 2. Okay. So here right coset, right? So here I need to determine H plus A. H plus A. Here plus represents addition modulo 4. A represents number elements from the original group G, Z4, right? So first I'm going to proceed like H plus first element is 0. What will be the answer? What will be the answer? H plus 0.
0, 2.
0, 2.
H plus 1. Next element from the G.
1, 3.
Very good. Next. Next.
2, 0.
2.
2, 0. Okay, because of the addition modulo 4, I will be getting 4 mod 4 is 0. Like next, H plus 3.
3, 1.
Sorry?
Again 1.
3, 1.
3, 1. Okay, that's it. So I'm going to write the distinct cosets. How many distinct cosets are there? So H plus 0 equal to H plus 2. So that are okay. Last one is H plus 1 equal to H plus 3. See here, these are the two distinct right cosets are there. You need to mention that. So how I am going to check the answer? Okay, you may raise a question like this. So how I am going to check the answer? See here, this problem will say very basic value of distinct coset. Sometimes you may have, if suppose if I'm extending the process like Z7 comma plus 4, like 0 comma 2 comma 3 comma randomly I can take number 0 comma 2 comma 5 comma 6. Suppose if I'm considering such numbers, that time the distinct coset number also will be varied. That time you will get some confusion whether I am getting the answers correctly or not. So that time these steps also will be increased, right? The number of steps also will be increased. So that time you need to verify your answers whether you have attained correctly or not by taking the union between all the distinct cosets. You should get the original answer of G. Have you got the point what I'm saying? After
Sir, can you
that,
repeat it?
after that, after you have derived the answer of distinct cosets, if you take the union between all the distinct cosets, that can be either left or right, you should get the answer of Z4. That means original G group. Can you get it? Can you get the point what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So you can just check the previous problem also. Here in this problem, there is no confusion because you have totally only two sets. You just think of if suppose if I'm having like distinct cosets like 4 or 5, that time you need to check properly by taking the union between all the distinct cosets. I should get the answer of group. That means original set G. Okay, otherwise there would have done some mistake on any one of these steps. So this is the way to determine the left coset and then right coset. The concept was reached you clearly. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.